Many people don't know this, but there is power in forgiveness. When you let go of your grudges and bitterness, it doesn't mean that you are weak or condoning what was done to you. On the contrary, it means that you are strong enough to move on from the pain and find peace. This woman understood that very well, and after she forgave her enemy, something incredible happened. And when you hear about it, you will understand how letting go can bring unexpected blessings into your life. The story began when a woman named Rebecca received a call from her son's school. The principal informed her that her son had been caught fighting with his classmates. He was brought to the principal's office, where he started crying because he knew he was in trouble. Rebecca knew her son could be impulsive and get into fights sometimes, but she never imagined he would resort to violence at school. She scolded him, asking why he couldn't just walk away from the situation instead of resorting to physical force. But little did she know that this event would forever change her life. She went to the school to pick up her son, and they were both surprised to see the parents of the other child waiting there. The boy's parents were furious and demanded an apology from her son. They also wanted to know why their son had been attacked. After listening to both sides of the story, Rebecca apologized to the other parents, promising that it wouldn't happen again. However, their anger didn't subside. The father even threatened to take legal action against Rebecca's son if it happened again. This made Rebecca feel awful. On the way home, she thought about what had happened. Even though her son had acted out of self, he still needed to learn how to control his temper. So she decided to enroll him in a karate class. There, under the guidance of a disciplined instructor, her son would learn not only self-defense techniques, but also valuable life lessons. Little did she know that this decision would have profound implications for her own life. Years passed, and her son grew up. He became a confident young man who could defend himself without relying on brute force. One day, Rebecca received a phone call that changed everything. It was the mother of the boy he had fought all those years ago. On the phone, the woman was sobbing and apologized profusely to Rebecca. She explained that her son had become a delinquent and was involved in gang activities. He had even been arrested several times. She said that she and her husband had tried everything to save their son, but nothing seemed to work. And now they were desperate. Rebecca felt sorry for them and invited them over. When they arrived, she offered them food and tried to make them feel comfortable. Then the woman finally revealed why she had called. She explained that her son had told her about the fight he had had with Rebecca's son years ago and how he had lost. Since then, he had harbored resentment towards Rebecca's family, which had manifested itself in his bad behavior. Now, she said, her son was planning to take revenge on Rebecca's family, and she was worried that he might hurt them. Rebecca listened patiently and calmly. She understood that her son had acted in self-defense all those years ago, and even if he hadn't, the boy's behavior was not her fault. It was his parents' responsibility to raise him well. Despite this, she had held on to her anger and grudge, thinking it was justified. But now, she realized that she had been wrong. By harboring resentment, she had only caused more pain and suffering for everyone involved. After thinking about it for a moment, Rebecca responded, "I know that your son is going through a difficult phase right now, but he shouldn't blame me or my family for his actions. It's important to remember that no one is perfect and we all make mistakes. What matters most is that we learn from them and move forward." The other woman looked at Rebecca in disbelief. She could understand why she was so calm and forgiving when her own son had been the victim of bullying. Rebecca continued, "I believe that my son acted in self-defense all those years ago, and I am proud of him for standing up for himself. As for your son, I know that he is going through a tough time right now, but that doesn't justify his bad behavior. It is not my fault that he is acting out. I think that his parents should focus on supporting and guiding him through this difficult phase, instead of blaming others." After hearing these words, the other woman felt ashamed. She realized that she had been wrong all along. She had allowed her anger and resentment to consume her, causing her to act in a way that was hurtful to others. She apologized to Rebecca for blaming her and her family, and promised to do everything she could to help her son. From that day on, the two families began working together to support each other. They attended therapy sessions as a group, and the boys began to open up to each other. They discovered that they had much more in common than they thought, and soon became friends. Rebecca was happy that she had made the right decision by forgiving her son's former bully. By letting go of her anger and resentment, she had freed herself from the burden of the past and paved the way for a brighter future for herself and her son. Forgiveness is a powerful tool that can help us overcome anger, resentment, and pain. It is not easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. By forgiving her son's bully, Rebecca was able to set him free from the chains of his past and move forward in a life with peace and joy. Years later, Rebecca's son became a successful young man. He graduated from university with honors and started his own business. He was kind, compassionate and respectful towards others, qualities that his mother had instilled in him since he was a child. As for Rebecca, she continued to spread her message of forgiveness and understanding. She gave lectures in schools and universities, sharing her story and inspiring others to follow in her footsteps. One day, Rebecca received a call from a local TV station. They had heard her story and wanted to interview her for a program about forgiveness. Rebecca agreed and soon found herself sitting in front of a camera crew. The interviewer asked her how she had managed to forgive her son's bully so easily. It wasn't easy. Rebecca replied, "But I knew that holding onto my anger and resentment was only hurting myself and my son, so I decided to let it go and move forward. It was the best decision I ever made." The interview was broadcast throughout the country, and soon Rebecca was receiving messages from people all over, thanking her for her inspiring story. She had touched the hearts of millions and had become a role model for people struggling with forgiveness. Rebecca continued to live her life filled with purpose and joy. She had learned the true meaning of forgiveness and the power it had to transform lives. And now here's a question for you. Have you ever had to forgive someone who has hurt you deeply? If so, how did you do it, and what did you learn from the experience? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear your stories. Also, before you leave, please like the video and subscribe for more uplifting content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.